démocratisation, challenge and democratization of the public institution of Angola. Ngunga is an Angolan association and also an associate professor in social science, Faculty of Angola, Agostinho Neto University of Angola. Please, Professor Eurico.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, colleagues. It's my pleasure being here in this encounter, and I'm going to present the Southern African Sadc challenge of democratization of the public institutions of Angola. In terms of content, could you please, somebody who is working on the presentation? I don't know who is in charge to. All right, thank you. So I'm going to going through on some Angolan context overview and Angolan Sadc treaty and some methodology, theoretical framework, post-civil war and first public administration, and some finds in public institutions and challenge of democratization and Sadcization. Angola between 1885 and 1975 was subdued by Portugal, and in 1970s Angola and all African Portuguese colonies began to reach their independence. So going ahead in 1990, there was a transition from monopartidarism to multipartidarism when we had the first democratic elections, and in that time was designed the democratic policies for humanized public service delivery. In 1992, after the first democratic election, Angola emerged in the second part of civil war, where all agreements were destroyed because the two parties, MPLA and UNITA, went back to fight, for the power, and it went through 2002 when the leader of UNITA died in combat, and we came back to the peace. So. But it's important to notice about the Sadc treaty, where Angola, as a sovereign state, ratified. So in 1980, Angola ratified Sadc treaty, social contract that legitimizes a nexus between Sadc and Angola at the international regional level, and its people. In the other side, its people at national level. In this case, three sovereign entities are at play. The people of Angola, who transfer their sovereignty to the state Angola. Second, Angola, who derives its sovereignty from the people of Angola. And Sadc, who derives its sovereignty from the member state. Given this contest, we went through two questions. The first one, is there awareness of these serious issues in Angola public institutions? Are efforts being made to prepare viable institutions for the major socio-economic and democratic challenges for Sadcness or Sadcization? To do this work, we went through some methodologies, and this work explores conceptions of the organization arrangement, tackling on the democratizations of public institutions, system, structures, process, methods ruled by the Angolan government in delivering their services. It stems from the importance of examining the influence of a democratic culture to create a healthy SADC landscape. The three-pronged approach targeting the public administration strengthening in Angola, democratic public institution, people-driven political participation. In terms of theoretical framework, we went through some theoretical individuals. The first one is Walden Gary, who works in governance apparatus in South Africa, from policy design to survive service delivery. We went through Box Richard, who works in the democracy and public administration, and Kalanja, who go through Direito das Autarquias e Administração, which is autarkies laws in Angola. In terms of findings, we have some of them, which is first one is after the Civil War, some Angolan leaders were unwilling to relinquish their newly found power. They are also reluctant to push for democratic reform or democratic participation in public policies. The leaders rely mostly on the policies of their political parties, a part of actions that favor individuals in national and local institutions. And some other finds that we have here go through the systemic problems on the Angolan context. In network problems, we have some points that we have to take account. In terms of mature democratic institution systems, we have link between transnational corporations, weak link between public institutions and individuals, weak connections with rural communities and local needs. In terms of institutional problems and governance and democracy, we have linking formal and informal institutions, regulations conducive to business innovation, social inclusion, lack of a system of governance relied on democratic agenda, corruption, suspicion in public tenders, and intellectual property rights and provision of reliable. The point is that I want to stress down is suspicions on public tenders, which is the way of people have to go through the public institutions. This is a big problem that we have in the country because people who rule some ministries and some other public institutions, they work through the party in the government, which is MPLA. The point is that if you're not connected to the party, you have serious problem, many difficulties to enter to the public companies. So, and it take us in the other problem, which is the capacity. It's difficult to get the capacity in the country when the public institutions work this way. In this vein, such landscape results on weak participations of individuals for a strong Sadcnization of the country. And given that the new generations is more exigent in terms of socio-economic and technical advances, which means viable and democratic policies, is important to establish the extent to which government prioritizes democratic institutions so that Sadcnization is viable. Thank you very much.